What's happening, Kings fans? I'm your host of KingsScoop.com, Malcolm Means. Today we're doing a little Google Hangout chat. I'm hanging out with Leo Beats.
How's it going, guys?
And I'm also hanging out with Mark Needham.
How's everybody doing? Welcome to KingsScoop.com.
Fantastic. Well, just make sure that you guys do know these guys here. They're both two distinguished writers on KingsScoop.com. They do a lot of our commentary, our couch GMs. They write for the current news tabs. They do a lot of great stuff on our website, and we're just excited just to kind of have this opportunity to talk today about what's going on with the Kings. So, guys, let's talk about this NBA draft a little bit. There have been some good number one picks to come, like LeBron and some other great names. But there's also been some busts that have been out there, like a Greg Oden, who's gone out there and done absolutely nothing. This year, the Kings get the number 7 pick. Thoughts, takes on what can be out there, Leo? Let's start with you.
I believe the Kings will draft C.J. McCollum Thursday. They brought him in Monday for a second workout, which kind of gives us an indication that they're leaning that way. As far as observations, I believe he's a great shooter. He has a killer crossover, and he has a high basketball IQ, and that's what the Kings need. A smart guy that can run the team.
Okay.
I'm looking at it, and I know Trey Burke was brought in on an individual workout, and he wasn't brought back in twice, but I think he's one of those guys because of the individual workout, and then McCollum was brought in a group workout with like 5 or 6 other guys. They were able to see Burke for a lot longer, and I don't think they would have needed a second workout for him. But, at 6 foot, I don't think he's not big by any means, but I don't think he's one of the smaller guys that have ever played in the NBA and been successful. If you look at what Isaiah Thomas has done, I'm not the hugest Isaiah Thomas fan. As a starting point guard in the NBA, I like his game. I love a lot about him. But as a starting point guard, I think a guy like Burke could do better. What worries me about that is, though, he has a lot of assists in college. He showed himself to be a very skilled passer. But I think we really need the mentality of a pass-first point guard. I mean, that's what a point guard does. If a guy can shoot, that's great. But I think we got hurt last year more with our main point guard worrying about scoring more than worrying about assisting. And I think that didn't get us an opportunity to actually get involved in a lot of games and get other guys involved early. So drafting Burke would be great, but I think in some ways it would be kind of what we already have. I think it would be an improvement, but I think it would be a very similar player as to Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, and
who would you like to draft there, Malcolm?
Well, my opinion, basically what you were saying is that you want a point guard who distributes the basketball. And the guy that I love, and I flat out have watched him play, and I think he's just a dynamite player, is Michael Carter-Williams. He's 6'6", great size on him, really can defend, the 1, the 2. He gets after people, and he puts a lot of pressure, kind of similar to Tony Parker, because he likes to get into the lane. He likes to penetrate. And then once that help side defense comes in, he likes to just drop off a nice little easy pass right there. So I do see a need to fill that. I thought that the Kings really should be trying to get someone like an Otto Porter for a small forward, but I don't think that he's going to be on the board. So the next best thing I think that the Sacramento Kings could possibly do is to get another guard to bolster that backcourt.
I agree.
I think if you look, there's a guy named. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah. I agree with you, Malcolm, on Michael Carter-Williams being a traditional point guard. He plays defense. He likes to facilitate for his team, which is great. But his deficiency is shooting, and we know how that goes in Sacramento. I think we're all tired of the lack of shooting,
Well, that's what I was going to say, Malcolm. I mean, if a guy's been in basketball and all these kids that are coming out have played basketball probably since they were a kid, had been dribbled one to school, around the schoolyard, but if they've always had one, that always worries me when a kid just can't shoot. I mean, that's the first thing you do with the ball. I mean, you dribble it, obviously. You might learn how to pass, but you're out there with a hoop in front of you, trying to shoot the basketball into the net from a very young age. And the fact that you're at this level and that still is somewhat of an issue to you, I think it does create a problem. A lot of guys have figured out a way to shoot, whether it's with a shooting coach or just spending a lot of time on the floor. But I still think, like Leo said, that's a concern. I do want a guy that distributes the ball, but I don't want a guy that just plain really can't shoot yet.
Well, I've got to say this, and I'm going to give Leo a second just to come on in right after me, and I'm just going to be real quick with this. I think that he's got a little bit of time to kind of grow into his game, into his body. Again, he's old, 19 years old right now, very young draw. I remember when I was playing, I didn't really start to develop my jump shot until I was in college. You know, I played a little Division III basketball and walked on at Division I. But again, I didn't really start honing my skills in until I was in college. And you get some time where someone works with you and tells you really how to shoot the basketball. Unlike Leo has no left hand. This kid's got a left hand. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah. But, as far as Michael goes, I agree. It may take some time, and since the Kings do have a better coaching staff, I believe, than Syracuse does, he may be able to improve upon his jump shot. But as far as time, I think he can play behind Isaiah Thomas and learn a little bit and just, hone his skills, like you said.
I think I think a couple of guys to look for that might be helpful that I got to see work out a little bit. I really did like Tim Hardaway Jr. I liked his attitude. I liked what he had to say. He just seemed like a good kid. And at 6'6", when I asked him about playing the small forward position, he actually said he played a couple of guys that were 6'7" to 6'10" when he was in college, and they were that big, and he played forward. So, I mean, if he could play with his skill and play on the wing as a forward in this league, put a little more meat on his bones, maybe he's still going to grow an inch or two. I could see him like a Lionel Simmons kind of a guy that can move to the basket and get some nice, easy jump shots, but also slash to the basket when necessary. So he'd be a guy that I would really consider trading somebody, from the Kings to move up in the draft from that second-round pick if we could. If we don't, a guy like Tony Snell, they brought him in twice. He's a guard, but he's a big guard. He's 6'7". He's got a shot. He's also kind of a slashing guy that you could put at the small forward position, something we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as picking up another first-round pick, there has been rumors that Jimmy Fredette might be on the block as far as picking up another first-rounder. And Utah may be that destination. They have the number 23 or 24 pick. And Hardaway and Tony Snell will be available around the mid-20s, so that is a possibility.
I like that. No mention from either one of you guys. Shabazz Muhammad, what's up?
I covered the workout, and he has great potential, don't get me wrong. But just his off-the-court issues is really what scares me away. He only had, I believe, 27 assists last season with UCLA, which also scares me. He's not a team player. He's a great scorer, don't get me wrong, but I think on this team we need a guy that accepts the role and will be able to play off the star player, which I believe is DeMarcus Cousins. And he doesn't come in with the mindset of I'm gonna accept my workout.
I agree with that. Go ahead. I agree with that completely. If I could say, I mean, that's the one thing that worries me about him. We don't have a lot of chemistry problems per se, but we do have some issues that need to be worked out. When you've got so much new going on at the top of the pile at the Kings, as far as the management and going down from the coaching to the GM to the scouts, every department's new. Even the media department's been revamped. When you really starting over like that, I think the last thing you want to do is bring a guy not make one of your first choices a guy that has any question marks about him at all. And I think a solid character guy is probably one of your most important decisions especially with the number 7 pick in your first pick, and as a very head coach, as a first-time GM. All this stuff is, I think, too important to spend on a guy that has even some question marks around him at this point. So I agree with that. I think Shabazz, he has some skill, but the UCLA, they put out some great guys. They put out some guys that took a long time to mature, and they put out guys that just never panned out. So it's kind of hard to tell which one of those 3 he's going to be.
And
also, he's also an older guy. He's probably about 20, 21, 22 years old right now, and he's just a freshman. So I'm not going to talk anything discouraging about that. I just would like to say that the kid is very talented. He's got good size, and I don't think that some of his character issues are necessarily all his fault. That's just a part of just kind of growing up. Again, we've got another guy who needs to grow up on the team, and DeMarcus Cousins, and no one's talking about trading him and getting rid of him. So yeah, we'll join in on that one.
Is Shabazz Muhammad putting up 30-something and 20-something in the last game of the year? I don't think so, and I don't think that out of the box he even has close to the potential DeMarcus Cousins has. So I'll say right here, barring his personal issues, whatever he's got going on, he probably skill-wise is just a hair away from being the best center in the NBA right now. Now, I know a lot of people might say that's crazy, but I've watched him for all 3 years, and the guy just can do things that nobody else can do, period.
I agree with you. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Mark. I'm very high on DeMarcus. You know, the only thing that's holding him back is himself, really. And as far as talent, Dwight Howard, that is proclaimed to be the best center, is nowhere near DeMarcus Cousins' talent. And
not even close.
It's going to be up to DeMarcus to establish himself as the best center in the NBA. And Coach Malone said on any given night he is the most talented center in the league.
Well, we're all going to find out here. So, again, this is just a quick little snippet of what we were thinking as far as draft choices, what's been going on with the Kings since the new regime has stepped in. And, again, I'm really thrilled that the Sacramento Kings are staying here in Sacramento, giving our fan base another opportunity just to stay and just prove how loyal and how wonderful we are to this team. Follow us at KingsScoop.com. Follow us on Twitter, RealKingsScoop.com. All right, I'm your host of KingsScoop.com, Malcolm Means. Thank you, Mark Needham. Thank you, Leo Beast. You guys follow us on KingsScoop.com, and we're out. Peace.